welcome back to the channel. Thanks again for viewing. We have the great Ricardo Moreira here with us today, the Germany's man. So we had to find a bit about his car, which we don't see much out anymore. We'll definitely do some cinematics, some rollers and stuff as well. But yeah, thanks for having us through.
My absolute
We
pleasure.
came to another province just for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ricardo will also be at OTF shooting. I'll
will.
play catch up with my notepad there. But yeah, tell us, for the guys the few people that won't know who you are, a bit about you, the car, and your journey from photography to videography.
Yeah, so thank you for the lovely introduction. Ricardo, I shoot for the Germany's Cape Town. We're a cinematic car brand, I would say, or media brand based in Cape Town. I shoot alongside two other guys, Ashley and Jordan. They unfortunately can't be with us at the moment. But yeah, I own a 2011 Polo Vivo. It's on air. I've done a lot of the work on the car myself. I'm quite I like to tinker with my car where I can. So obviously some serious stuff like wrapping the car I wouldn't do myself. That's a bit intense, but maybe one day. And yeah, I shoot on Fuji. I'm a Fuji man. I know people might get senti about that, but it is what it is, and Fuji is the best. I'll stand by that.
Sponsor the man.
Yeah, please.
But yeah, we were just talking about that off camera, and you're one of the few guys that shoot Fuji for video. We were saying like Fuji is the old Nikon guys, where it's just I have a camera, I take photos.
Yeah.
Like people don't know that the mirrorless and DSLRs take video. Like you have people coming up to you and they're like, "Where's the camcorder?" That's what shoots video. So yeah, you're one of the few guys that actually use Fuji to shoot video.
Yeah, I actually initially started on Nikon as well. I was taking pictures. My sister had one, and then I actually migrated over to Canon.
Okay.
I had a 200D, I think it was.
Yes.
So that could do 60 frames per second at 1080p. I was obsessed with the idea of slow-mo footage and just slowing things down. And then one of my mates, Ashley, that I was shooting alongside, he basically introduced me to the Fuji world and showed me his X-T3 and what it could do. And after constantly seeing the content that came from it, I was like, I need to get into the Fuji world at some point. And
X-Range grabbed you.
yeah, it's the X-T3, and it's a stunning camera, I can't lie.
And you pair that up with what lens currently?
At the moment, I use two lenses. 90% of the time, I'm shooting on my 18 to 55, the kit lens that comes with it. It's a f2.8 when you're down at like 18 mil, and then it goes up to like 4.5 at max focal range. And then I've got a 12 mil Samyang as well, because obviously it is a cropped sensor, so I'm a little bit
That's the thing.
restricted when it comes to wide angle, but
on all the tight car shows and the tight parking, event organizers, please hear us
please.
out. So yeah, space out the cars. OTF, hopefully, with such a big premises, I don't think we'll have that problem.
I think he said that based on what it is, it's going to be around a 2-meter gap between each car, but I've heard that story before, so we'll see what happens. But I'm excited either way. It's going to be dope.
Tariq, please. And in terms of the car, you said you did a lot of it on yourself, like the custom wrap.
Yeah,
so
the vinyl.
it is giving it that caricature anime feel, but it's actually not marker, it's the vinyl. And I haven't seen another car done this way. A lot of the guys tried to do the marketing and they failed, but I feel this is a great alternative to see if you're happy with it and if you're going to be able to live with it. And with this car, the way he's done it and the massive wing, it suits the vibe.
Yeah, the nice thing is with this, and also because, like you said, it would be done with a marker initially.
Yeah.
I cut it with scissors, and like it's all jagged, and that's how it would be with a marker anyway. So I really didn't feel bad. I did one pan. I was like, okay, this is kind of a vibe. I'm going to try it for the rest of the car.
Yeah, I only noticed now. I looked at one of the lines and it's not straight, but it adds to it. If you look at it off the bat, you're just like, yeah, no, it's supposed to be like that.
Yeah.
That's cool. And what inspired you to fit the wing? Because
wing?
we know a normal Polo is bagged with a wheel and that's it.
Yeah.
That's my show car. That's my build. I can say it because I had a Polo that was bagged. But yeah, what inspired you to go for the wing? And this specific wheel is more of a JDM wheel, let's say.
Yeah, these wheels are actually very new to the car. I got these maybe, I want to say 2 months ago. Maybe less, month and a half even. I don't actually know how long I've had it on the car. They're still new to me. You can see they're in pretty rough shape. I did a straight swap for mine.
Okay.
So I got quite lucky with that. And then with the wing, a friend of mine has I saw this photo on the internet ages ago. It was of like a pink Polo up in Belgium that had like a chassis mount wing on the car. I was like, I want to do that to my car. Yeah. And I had shared it to my story, and then at one point Instagram was like, oh, a year ago you shared this and you thought it was cool. And I was like, I still think that's quite cool.
Let me make it happen.
Yeah, literally. I sent it to a friend of mine. I was like, how mad is this? He's like, we could do that. I was like, really? And then we just started planning. Funny enough, the wing itself is a Honda S2000 wing.
Oh, okay, cool.
And then we just repurposed the mounts, made brackets, and then it's a full chassis mount at the bottom. It welds into the crash bar. And then...
So inception from S2000 to the Polo. I don't think any S2000 owner would have been like, yeah, it's from my car.
Yeah, I get a lot of people asking me, where did you get the wing? I'm like, it's the S2000 wing. And they're like, no ways. So,
Yeah, because everyone would assume that, oh no, you found it on eBay or on somewhere. That
I mean,
you're just
Max
gonna get
Motorsports,
the
I
whole
think,
kit.
even sells a version of this wing as well.
But with the whole, is it with the whole chassis mount?
No, not without the mounts. It's just the wing itself with like smaller arms that would you just have to then obviously repurpose the wing, the mounts itself, and just make different ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe they were following your post from a year ago as well. But yeah, it's a very unique take, and on this car it pays off. And in terms of the air, tell us a bit about what the management and stuff you're running.
It's nothing fancy. I'm running Q-Beams bags all around. Most of all the parts basically came from Q-Beams, and then the guys over at Slamworks as well as Q-Beams helped me manufacture the bags and the struts. Q-Beams did the rear setup, the cups, and then Slamworks made the front struts. I'm running double billers up front, sleeves in the back. Management, I'm running a VU2. I only wanted front and back, and then I just ran hard lines and then one compressor.
For the aesthetic purpose of the hard lines. And your struts in front is adjustable on the bags, or it's fixed?
Fixed, one style. Yeah.
Yeah,
They look pretty
whole
rough, I
adjustable.
can't lie. I can send you a photo. When you see them, you're like, oh. But I mean, they work. They've done well.
And so how long have you had the car bagged?
I don't want to lie to you. I want to say like 3 years, give or take.
Okay, and now what's your opinion? Because you have one now, being bagged for 3 years.
Yeah.
I don't know what's the mileage you do, but
This is my
what would
daily.
be your advice to the guys that want to daily their car and life on air basically?
Yeah. It's not so bad. I mean, look, I was on coilovers for a while, so I'm used to like a stiff ride. I would say if you're buying air in the mindset that it's going to be like a comfortable ride, you've got a very skewed conception of what air is going to do for your car. And look, in some instances, yes, it can ride very comfortably. You've obviously had a bag Polo, you know, they actually ride quite well considering compared to some cars. A mate of mine had a Civic that was on air, and that was rough, to say the
I mean,
least.
Civics, you bag it to go as low as possible, and to catch them on the low limbo, there's very few cars that can catch a Civic.
Yeah, so that's other than that. But I mean, I love the car on air. I'd be sad to have to take it off air. And I think my next car, I think the wife would kill me, but I would love to put the next car on air.
Yeah, I mean, like once you do go air, if you're gonna go for an adjustable suspension system, you'd rather go for air.
Yeah.
That
Yes.
button, the switch. Static is nice. We have to give the guys respect for static, but that's a very big commitment on SA roads.
Yeah. Also, I mean, then you get static gets a little bit hairy when you start getting into the arguments of people saying that, oh, but like, is it static if the Oak's going to jack up his car when he gets to the show?
Yeah,
that's
that's the
another
thing.
debate.
Yeah, because that's basically you got air, but it's just manual. Static is you daily the car, you roll the car, everything at that height. You drive it like you park it.
And
then
up in Durban, how do they feel about the Oaks dropping their cars?
Hey, I mean, we make a joke about static guys, but I've seen a lot of guys with air. They'll come there with massive wheel gap. I mean, I can go and take the whole strut out with that wheel gap. And then all of a sudden he comes, parks his car, and then he airs out, or she. We're not sexist on the channel.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then they air out, and I'm like, you paid so much money to drive high and air out when you park. Why?
Yeah.
You could have just fitted coilovers and got your cousin or your nephew or something to help you coil down. And why? Like mine, I used to drive it slammed. Like when I come park through and I air out, the car will drop by like less than a finger space.
Yeah.
Because I want to get all my money's worth out of this air.
You know, that's interesting you say, because like I'm unfortunately on the other side of the spectrum. I drive max height. I don't want to catch on any cuck. But like, I do get it, and that's something I've seen from like content that comes up from like upcountry.
Yes.
You'll see videos from Josie and Durban. I never know which is which half the time, if I'm honest. But you see these videos of these Oaks driving their Polos slammed, and they'll air out and just like that.
Yeah.
Just that little bit, but the Oaks are slammed constantly. And you make a good point. You've spent all this money on that air. You should be driving it low.
Because you must have that debate, like as the car rolls in, you're like, hey, the footman's lovely, this car is tucking.
Yeah.
No, is it bagged? Is it static? Is it bagged? Is it static? And then the guy jumps out, or before he just hits a switch, it just drops a little, you're like, yeah, it's bagged. If it doesn't do anything, you're like, wait, this car is static.
Yeah.
So the thing is, I feel like you should get your money's worth out of it. I mean, the whole point is to pick it up at the speed arm. Like, yeah, for example, the roads are so messed up, sometimes you might not pick it up in time. It happened to me when I just bagged the car. I used the Airlux system, and it was Caster Air there, not Airlux at that time because it was so long ago.
Is Caster and
Louis,
Airlux?
yeah, it's Louis Rebello.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know. I thought they were two separate entities.
Nah, Louis got his hand in everything. Yeah, but he's chilled. Just speaking English to him is very hard. So we use Google Translate on both sides. We send him English, he puts it to Portuguese, and he sends it back
Hey,
to
it's a
us.
Portuguese.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's from Brazil. So yeah, I was going off with the Airlux.
Yes.
So yeah, when we ordered, Louis didn't have stock of the gauges. So for a month, I drove without gauges on my first car with Air. It was fun times. So the one time I came off under a bridge, and like, you know, when you come under the bridge, it's darkness, and all of a sudden there's light, so you can't see what's there.
Yeah.
And I was driving the car slammed, and there was this concrete slab that was on the road. And in that moment, I had no time to flip a switch or move the remote, and I just hit it. And then for the rest, like the rest of the song just went on mute, and I hoped nothing went wrong. But luckily, yeah, it was fine.
Yeah, you made it.
Yeah, so with driving slammed, you have your issues. I mean, I damaged quite a few footings, ran lines, burnt lines because I had sound in the car, so the lines were running over the amp under the boot setup. But yeah, we fitted the Air, so we knew what was going to be wrong.
It's part of the game as well, you know what I mean?
It took more time to unscrew the subs and the whole enclosure to get to the Air than actually fixing the Air.
Yeah.
And yeah, your AAA, so roadside assistance is always guaranteed. But yeah, so it depends on the car as well, I'd say. You can bag any car, but some cars just feel better static.
Is there any car you would say that you genuinely feel is like, you know, that car deserves to be static rather than on air?
I'd say a high performance any car. Like a high performance any car, you want to feel the bumps, you want it to be stiff, and you want to push that car. So, because you're not getting any delay in terms of the turbo or supercharger, any lag. So you want to be one with the car, one with the road. I feel like you want no disconnect in that. But everything else on your daily drive, if you're going to push your NA car on a daily drive like that, yeah, each to their own.
Yeah.
But be safe. And in terms of the Polo, do you see yourself keeping it, or any plans for the actual car? What do you have left?
Color, I'd like to paint the car at some point. I don't want to sell the car. That's something I've told myself a very long time ago. It's my first car. I've seen enough people regret selling their first cars.
Yeah, I'm one of them. I regret smashing my first car. Yeah.
So obviously I don't want to smash it either. Touch wood.
Yeah.
You know? But the main thing is, yeah, I'd love to keep the car. I want to paint it next. I'm really in love with like the half wrap on the car. So I've got a quote recently to have the front of the car painted. Okay. Potentially do a graffiti, so like have an actual artist graffiti the front half of the car and then rewrap the side of the car again, just so that I have the same
That
look.
contrast, yeah.
Because I've always been a fan of like a half wrap.
For some reason, on this shape of Polo, it just works. There's a few guys in Durban that did the same thing with the black back, and then coming into. It's like a Need for Speed Underground 2 type of vibe, but on the Polo, it just works. Like if you look at it, it's not like it's like odd. It just flows well.
I've seen it on a few cars where you look at it and that's a little bit weird.
Depending on the shape of the car, sometimes it doesn't suit you.
Yeah. Also the angle. Some bikes will do too high of an angle and it looks like someone tried to cut the car. It looks a bit weird.
Maybe, hey, you never know. Maybe the car was 2 cars. They just chopped it and welded it. But yeah, so color change, what color would you go for?
That's a difficult one. No, like I'm not here to change the game, you know.
Catch me at first.
I actually would love to go to Festa, don't get me wrong, but the color, I've always liked green. Green is one of my favorite colors. Okay. So if I could do an emerald green, that would probably be like my dream color. But also like a nice teal blue, I think. A flat teal blue, like a gloss, would also look very good. These cars also look great in white. I've been blessed with the cup bumper. The cup bumper almost doesn't matter what color you paint the car.
Yeah,
it looks good.
That vibe,
so like, I'll just work with that. But I'm in no rush. And again, it's not a priority at the moment.
I can see the Germany's YouTube channel that's just getting we decided to paint my car and then we got a whole 20 rattle cans and you're like, yeah, let's get some views.
I've thought about it, I can't lie to you, a couple of times.
Yeah. It's not a bad thing, eh? Maybe we should do it.
Yeah,
if you nag him enough and go comment on his latest video when I upload this video, let's see if we can convince the man.
Yeah.
We can partner up and get some sponsors for paint.
There we go.
And
Chip, sort me out.
yeah, Chip can come through.
I'm actually excited to meet Chip. I've never met him. I watch his videos religiously.
Yeah, no, I won't lie. I might have said it on camera a lot of times, but I don't understand how that man is so humble. So we met him at Gas Motor Show this year.
Yeah.
And now, like, you'd expect him to have some sort of security or at least an air about himself. And we're just walking through, we just saw him like, hey, Chip, how are you? This is who we are, this is what we do. He's like, yeah, no, I've gotten Kabi here. You just tell me when you're going to shoot it and whatever. I need to go leave to Joburg this day. And we're like, yo, okay. Like, we would have thought people would have booked you like long ago for the shoots before you even came through. And he's so chill. Like, we even went up to the shop and we did the podcast that people would have seen.
And if you guys haven't seen it, please go watch it. It's a lovely video.
Yeah, I got the proper feedback from Ricardo. Yeah. So even with that, like, we forgot now. I just call him Chip. I don't realize his name is Tariq, so we forgot he's actually Muslim.
Yeah.
So we got there at Maghrib time. So he just went. So we were just hanging around, killing time. And then when he came, we spoke to him. He's like, yeah, I remember I spoke to you. He's like, yeah, no, chill. Then he said he had to go for a meeting for like another 2 hours. So we told him, hey, no, it's fine. We'll shoot the shop in the meantime. So we shot the shop. The man comes straight out of his meeting looking for us. He's like, I told you all, this is a story. You're done shooting the shop. We're like, yeah. So we expected him to be like, okay, you're done shooting the shop. I'm tired now. I think we're going to call it a day.
Yeah.
Then he was like, yeah, okay, no, we're still doing the interview. Where do you all want to set up? Then he took us for like a tour of the shop. And I remember seeing there was a barber shop and everything in his store.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, and then I remember seeing it on Instagram, but I was like, maybe this dude went to Santon City and cut his hair or something. It's in the panel shop.
Yeah.
It's upstairs. We even went to the shop to get like cold drink and stuff. We go upstairs. He's got his own like a canteen type of vibe there. You can buy food, buy drinks, and we're like, why did we waste our time? So yeah, he's just too cool. He sat down. We had to actually cut him off. That's how much he was chatting to us.
Yeah.
If we could have kept him for the whole day, we wouldn't have mind. But yeah, he's just too much of a humble guy.
Yeah.
And especially with like social media, you'll know, resharing and posting and stuff. And he actually reads the messages. Like normally you'd expect him to have a person that now replies on his behalf. But like if I tag him on a story, he'll like send a message and then he'll reshare it. And like the fact that you actually replied, let alone that you actually reshared it, it's crazy. And in terms of you being a photographer, so you started off with photography or you were video centric from the beginning?
Photography specifically. I wasn't actually so interested in video initially. I started with photography on a sister's Nikon. I would just take pictures here and there, specifically of my car. All I wanted was to take cool pictures of my car. I didn't have a cool car at the time, I'll tell you that. But that's basically what started me out. And then a mate of mine was getting very into video at that point.
Okay.
And then I started to migrate over.
And so basically you explained the question I was going to ask is what got you into photography?
Yeah.
But now I would ask you basically, how do you feel with, like how you said you started off from the Nikon, you started off with the Canon. Social media, photography, videography was much different back then. Like there were light years difference that you could see, okay, Ricardo used his camera on this image. No, Ricardo used his phone on this image. Now it's very grey.
Yeah.
Like we're shooting now on the Pocket, which is not really a camera, but it is a camera. For the price, DJI really thought of putting it as a camera price.
Yeah.
Because it's like about 19K for that.
But for what you get as well is nuts.
Yeah, it is. I mean, he's got the mic. I need to find a second mic. That's why I'm using my phone to record the audio because we take feedback from you guys. So we're trying to improve the audio from our last podcast. But in terms of that, what would you say? Like, what's your opinion on people just grabbing a phone and pushing out bangers?
Look, for me, at the end of the day, it's all about the content creation more than anything. I will say there was a good portion of time where I was like, you can't compare a phone to a camera. And yes, I still do think that is the case. And like, I find it specifically when it comes to like focal range, like you immediately can beat a camera and a phone. You can immediately beat a phone with a camera because of what you can do when it comes to focal length. That I find is immediate like distinction between the two and like the f-stop adjustment and so forth. But I mean, if that's what you're using to create content and you're enjoying it and doing so, the best part, the most important thing is creating content. So like, I really don't mind if you're killing it with your phone. I mean, keep killing it. So be it. I've seen people get so upset about how well people are like, or how people are shooting on their phones, but you've got a DSLR and you're not doing as well as them. That's unlucky, really. Just keep grafting and do what you got to do. Go buy a phone if you've got an issue with it. Figure it out.
Sell your camera, buy a phone.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
There we go.
But yeah, I know I had that argument with you, and I was trying to convince you about me buying the Pocket, and you were like, "No, you don't like it because the focal length you can't change."
Yeah.
So he gave his point. I hate editing video. I just like doing it for the guys. So yeah, for me, the easiest way for me is the best way.
Also, considering your use case as well, so that makes a lot more sense as well, you know?
So even for cinematics, I will just use it. It can slow down, so it's enough. And if I need to change focal length, I'll just slap the wide angle lens on it.
There you go.
But yeah, it is cool, but like, I'd get what you're saying about the people complaining, because I had this complaint, not more so about them getting views and stuff, about the quality. Like, you'll work your ass off and use Premiere Pro. What do you use for editing?
Premiere. I'm on Adobe Suite.
Yeah, so you're spending on a 1 minute clip, you're spending some hours. People don't understand, like, oh, this reel is so cool, Ricardo. Can't you do it for me? And then you give them the price and they're like, how? Why is it so expensive? Because the man is editing for hours. Yeah. And like, you do that and upload it to Instagram, and then you look at the quality from your PC or your laptop versus what's uploaded, and it's like, how? Yeah. Then someone's shooting on their iPhone and straight, no edit, just up on Instagram, and it's max quality.
And it's not even no cuts, it's literally just one clip of it rotating around his car.
And it's just like the guy's pulling into this car and you're just following it, and then that's it.
Yeah.
10,000 likes and stuff. And even me, I was like, I can't have this. And that's how I ended up with the iPhone. Yeah. I bought it for gas life because I wanted to do some quick reels, and it worked. And I saw it, and it's crazy. But it's because these social media apps are made for iOS and stuff. So I feel that's my pain point in the whole phone versus camera. Because, it's very hard to catch them on the quality. Because of the file size and stuff that you're exporting onto upload compared to a phone.
I will say the log on the iPhones get big quicker, eh?
Yeah, a couple seconds you're looking at over gigs.
Yeah.
Even for this camera, we went to buy a memory card yesterday. And the guy's like, no, I don't know, your camera might not be able to take such a big memory card. I'm like, brah, in a few seconds, this thing is few over gigs.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, okay. And he works at the computer store.
Yeah.
So, technology is ever evolving. In terms of your gear, you're using a gimbal as well, of course, for video.
Yeah, I've got a Zhiyun Crane 3 Lab, or Crane Lab 3, I'm not exactly sure. It's a bit of an older gimbal. I've had it for a couple of years. A friend of mine blessed me with it. And it's a bit of a workhorse. It's a setup in a, what would you call it? Like is it the briefcase setup?
Yeah,
It's got the handle that kicks up, basically, and that's just its static. Look, I mean, it works really well. I have a L bracket as well to run for if I want to do portrait and so forth, which is quite nice. Fuji, as you know, the metal bodies can be quite heavy. I think yours is metal as well, right?
Yeah, I've got the old school bodybuilding one, the XH1.
That's when they weren't trying to use as much metal as possible. So I needed something that could actually handle like a proper payload.
Yeah, I think Apara can get money if they scrap my camera.
So if I was to even migrate over, I'd probably move over to like a DJI gimbal. I mean, they seem to be doing very well.
The Ronin range.
Yeah, RS3 potentially is very nice. A friend of mine's got an RS3 Pro, and then another mate also bought the RS3 Mini, and he's using the Mini on his XT5, and it handles it fine.
The weight. Yeah, it's also the lens and stuff, but the Fuji lenses aren't massive, so it's not bad.
And weather sealed, which is lovely.
Yeah. We'll take that damage there, we won't mind.
Yeah, a friend of mine lost a A7S Mark III, I think it is, to the rain. Yeah, the buttons all fried. I think it was, I'll ask him, I'll find out.
But I don't know, he was very brave to even just move his camera in the rain, let alone try and shoot it.
Yeah, he shot rollers in like pouring rain.
We always wanted to do that, me and Viro, and we say like, the weather's there, let's go do it. And then we contemplate like how long it took us to get the cameras.
Yeah.
And you're like,
I think you're better off shooting it handheld. Just stick your hand out the car and hope for the best.
Otherwise, the insurance is going to tell us you are up to nonsense. Because we were going to post that video out of that anyway.
Yeah.
So. But in terms of you as a car guy, I like asking, I guess, this question. If you had no budget, what would be your top 5 cars?
Top 5? It's a difficult question.
No budget,
Yeah. Definitely import a few. I love Japanese cars. It's definitely my favorite. See, part of me, I've also been exposed to the 4x4ing world recently, so I'd probably want something for 4x4ing. So let's just say a 2024, no, not 2024, because that's the wrong. They changed the motors on those. A Jeep Wrangler
Okay.
JL. That'll be quite nice. A Rubicon specifically.
Yeah, the Rubicons are lovely.
Yeah, there's a fully built one, preferably. That'll be quite nice. 4-door as well. Space for the kids.
Yeah, with that you have to think about it.
Yeah. Show it a daily. Yo, this is tough. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've never put enough thought to this.
Yeah, you see, if someone comes to you point blank, they're like, I'll give you 5 cars, any cars. And then we have to sit and think.
R32 Skyline for sure. Easily the best looking shape they ever made.
I was just going to say, yeah, most of the fanboys will go 34 because of Paul Walker.
Yeah.
What makes you choose the
RIP
32?
to the homie. Well, I just think I love the front end, the way how small the lights are.
Yeah.
And it's a weird thing to not like, but I like how the tail lights are the 2 circles on the tail lights are the same size.
Brick,
Yeah. It's not the one large and the one smaller. There's nothing wrong with the R34. I just prefer the look of the R32, and that's like the original Godzilla.
Some OCD vibes.
Yeah, so that's quite cool. I've always wanted a S13, like a Silvia. I think the S15 looks really good. So I'd want probably one of those. Hawkeye. No, not. Yeah, I love a good Subi. Hatchback though. STI maybe. I don't even know how many cars I've listed. I think that's 4. I want to say 4. And then just because you said money's not an option, Pagani Zonda, just because. If
Just
not, why
because,
not?
yeah. None of them were mentioned by VW. But yeah, no, we can't argue with that choice. And before we cut to the men's car, can you tell us how you guys came up with the name Germany's? So the 3 of you that you mentioned, did you all start it together? Did someone join in later? But like, how did the name come about?
So there was initially 5 of us,
Okay.
but there was just a group of mates that used to hang out in school.
Okay, cool.
And we all had German and Japanese cars. So there was 3 Japanese cars. There was an Accord, a Civic, a Accord, a Ballard, a Impreza, and then 2 Polos. A 1.9 TDI, and then this one.
Okay.
And we had Japanese cars and German cars, so we thought the name would be Germanese. And we literally just mixed the 2 together. I'll be honest with you, I don't like the name. I've never really liked it, but like we've been running with it for so long.
So how long has it been?
Established the brand in 2017.
Okay.
So it's been a while. Yeah, almost 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been busy. So like I said, I'm not a big fan of the name, but I think
Man
it's a
says
bit
he
too
doesn't
late
like the name, but
it's a
if
bit
you
too
look
late
at
to
his
change
hand,
it.
he's got it there.
I do have it tattooed on my arm. That's probably the craziest thing I've done. Bless my fiance for spoiling me with a gift like that. So yeah, that's where the name came from. We will probably change it maybe one day, but for now it sticks. And that's actually true. Maybe I can't change it.
I think if they change the name, you should just stick with it.
I was when I initially got this tattoo, I thought to myself, maybe I'll regret this at some point, but it's such a big part of my life, and I've
That's
spent
the
so
thing,
much resources on it. I'd rather just remember it for what it is.
If you have to quantify your time in a week dedicated to this, like it's too much of your life.
Yeah, I think I spent way too much time thinking about this.
But no, thanks for having us.
My absolute pleasure.
We can
I love this.
cut to some shots of the car and some rollers.
Yeah, sweet. Thank you so much. This is our service road. Does this work for you?
Yeah. No one's coming here.
Yeah. Worst case, the prison. Sometimes the blame again go away, but like people come to walk their dogs here and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So
Basically,
Ain't my daddy, but he calling me baby. Talking cheap, so he know he gotta pay me. Chauffeur got him driving Miss Daisy. When it shot, but couldn't play me. Money long, just like my bundles. I ain't crying in the back of no Hummer. Few racks and her lit up, huh? Few stacks, he might get my number. Click, click, get the dials on, baby. Put some heat on it, now she hot, ooh, baby. Screaming, flip that like Stacy Dash. Daddy check my fit, got expensive on the it's to a who is you? Why you crying, girl? He treat you like a fool. He be lying while he out here doing him. Think it's time that you show him you a pimp. Ain't no ties, draw the line. He ain't mine, no. He ain't mine, no. Ain't no ties, draw the line. He ain't mine, he ain't mine, no. Don't know your name, but I heard you be talking like you got it and you don't. Don't care about what you did back then, boy, what you really own. Can you make it flip and then still give me what I want? Or Cause you out here capping like them in they song. Tricking is a sport, and baby, you ain't gotta play. Never think it's sweet, I'm more like sour lemonade. Running down the court, but baby, still ain't learning